In Chapter 44, Spilling Beans and Blood, the stranger Goliath doesn't take very kindly to Graven's shenanigans and begins attacking the party, but falls short of victory.
Erland running past slides through the kind of dirt and gets it right into his Achilles and watches as his leg sort of buckles and he falls.
After a dicey combat, our friends claim his dead displacer beast as their own bounty and decide it's best to share the information they gleaned from the camp despite Jillian's absence, just in case someone doesn't make it back to Mukmu.
Okay, so who starts?
Well, I believe I have the who, the what, the how, and the where. The only thing I don't have is the why.
You're going to have to be a little more specific.
Specifically, the group's consolidated information leads them to understand that the camp's leaders are looking for people that react in a specific way to myconid spores. For what purpose, you ask?
Answer. They're turning people into myconids.
The goal is to turn people into myconids, really?
The number of times this journal says that the myconids are getting harder to find.
It's incredibly lucrative.
Did you see any others where you saw him?
No, that's the thing. He was the only one.
The arduous task of finding candidates that can be turned into myconid goes as follows. Administer myconid concentrate to a person. If they react with the proper side effects, they are given the myconid spores, creating a single solitary myconid. But Orba adds,
This is where it gets scary.
This is where it gets scary.
It's taking them too long to identify people individually like they are right now. So what they have theorized is turning the concentrate into a gas, which it is not at the moment, pumping it into cities, undergrounds, and then releasing it.
And seeing who's
Rick
affected
Rock,
by it.
the cemetery.
Yes.
Miasma.
Yes.
let's make sure we've got this right.
Just to be clear, the extract being pumped into these places.
Concentrate.
Yes.
The concentrate, the spores.
No, spores are the implementation. Concentrate
Spores
is the
come
detection.
after
Okay,
the
so-
concentrate. So they dose you first with the concentrate, and then they spore you to make you into
So,
mushrooms.
The concentrate's being pumped into the towns
Yes.
isn't going to instantly turn people into
Withdrawals.
these.
Gives you
Correct.
It's
withdrawals.
going to identify
Yes.
what sort of patients, and
Yes.
then they're going to round up.
Yes. Now, again, no harm seems to come from people who are exposed to the concentrate. However,
No
harm being the operative word, they're kidnapped and then turned into something somewhere else, so.
When all is said and done, all roads lead back to Erland's old school teacher, Master Grimari.
One line I would like to just highlight and not brush over is, I wish Master Grimari was here. It's a shame that things turned out the way they did. And I don't know why.
A falling out.
Perhaps. Ideas behind myconid extract weren't always nefarious. He and his associates were trying to do great things with it.
So then is that the falling out with him and the camp? Is that what? It's too
I'm not
nefarious
sure.
now? At what point do you draw the line?
Well, they were using it to hopefully, somebody once mentioned grow back limbs and whatnot. They were trying possibly to help people, and
Grimari
harming it.
believed that transforming organic matter into other organic matter is where the biggest breakthroughs in alchemy lay.
The friends begin a well-deserved rest, and Erland has a private word with Orba.
Is there anything about the side effects?
In what way?
How safe people are with them?
It doesn't mention
Worried about my friend Anson.
Erland. Magic always has a source.
Rest up, Tiefling.
But as they travel on, the volatile relationships in the mountains create more trouble for our friends when they encounter the remains of a battle between the Black Lion necromancers and the Lakafuyu zealots. Our friends find a surviving necromancer who immediately raises the dead and fights, but not for long.
I mean, I take my arrow and I fire. I try to get it right between her eyes,
You do so.
and then I'm like, I showed you.
They finally approach the portion of the canyon where Josco's bridge is usually stationed, but with no Josco around to magically produce it. Orba finds a letter nearby written by the wizard and casts Comprehend Languages to translate the unknown language it was written in.
For the more clever and discerning among you, there is a passage disguised by a blanket of grass and dirt 70 paces west behind a large golden currant shrub. This is what we will be using.
Our friends are thankful for the tip and head for the hidden tunnel Josco's described.
And the tunnel kind of stretches out before you, and that's where we're gonna end. As
we see where Joss goes?
What troubles await our friends in the tunnel? Can they find a way to use this new information for good? Is it wishful thinking that their return to Mukmu will be a discreet one? Find out next time on Tabletop Notch.